Hi, BookTube. Welcome to Jackie's Literary Corner. And today I just got back from the library, so I only returned one book, but I came back with more books than I should have. Because I know that the appeal of the library is you can return these books if you want to. You don't have to keep them. There's no pressure. You're not spending any money. And the only money you spend is, if you are late with returning a book. Or, you might have to spend a little bit of money to buy a library card. But so I returned Ruth Ware's Woman in Cabin 10, and I'm really liking that. I already kind of did a sort of review on that one. So I'm still reading Flashback, The Keeper of the Lost City series. I'm in the middle of chapter 11, I think. Or chapter 12, let me see. Where am I at? Yeah, I'm in the middle of chapter 11 going on to chapter 12. The problem with middle grade is that I'm just sometimes, you have to get me in the right mood. And yes, I love this series, but, I want to read some adult books with, as well, so. But I want to get this one done, and then I also have the last book, the most recent book in the series. I think there are going to be 9 books, I believe. I think. Let me see what it says on if there's a. Okay, it doesn't. Alright, so I didn't get spoiled. I just read a couple sentences. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't say. It doesn't have like the. I remember the House of Night series always had like the title and coming soon when the author was working on the next book. But I think, like I said, on Goodreads it looked like there's gonna be 9 books. But I don't know. But the way those last couple sentences at least gave me the impression that, yeah, it's not over yet. I don't think. I'll have to check into that on Goodreads. Because I think there was a space left. So I'm working on those, but the other books I ended up getting from the library were, okay, first, I haven't seen this book on the shelf in the children's middle grade YA section of the library, all the kids' books essentially, teen and kids' books, basically that little section. Which it's as soon as you enter on the left side, I believe. I have to think about that because I was never good with determining my right from my left, and I kept seeing this book. Oh, it is a blurb by Philip Pullman. If you guys don't know, he's the guy who wrote his Dark Materials series. Which, funnily enough, I read the books. I enjoyed the first one, but the second two, I was like, it's cool, interesting, but whatever. And then I read, and I also was kind of bothered by the whole weird relationship between Will and Lyra, because they were like babies to me. So it was like all of a sudden they weren't babies, or they were in a relationship that was a little mature. So that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna spoil it, but if you never read the books, but they weren't bad. It's just not. But I'm really liking the show. So far. Okay, so I kept seeing this. It's called Thornhill, and I thought it had to do with the Jane Eyre, but the house of Jane Eyre is called Thornfield, not Thornhill. It's a bit of a tongue twister. Looks like a bit of a middle grade mystery. It doesn't say much on the back. It just says, a lonely girl in a new town, a ghostly figure in the window, a derelict old house, and a mystery spanning decades. An orphan faces a bully alone and plots her revenge. Years later, a girl catches a glimpse of a figure in the window of a burned out old and abandoned old house and begins to unravel the mystery of Thornhill. So it sounds like a middle grade mystery thriller book. So, and what's really cool is that it has pictures throughout. And then there's diary entries instead. So it would be a quick read. So it is one of those books that it's a little less, it kind of, like, it makes me think of a little bit of, there was a movie made of this book. The Adventures of Hugo, like the main boy's name was Hugo something. Hugo Cabret. Adventures of Hugo Cabret or something. And I have seen that book at the library. So if I like this one, I might check that one out too. And I like how it's, see, I like when hardbacks have something on the cover. Like, it doesn't have a dust jacket. It probably never had a dust jacket, but I like that it's a blank hardback, but it's not blank. It has a design on it. It's like a hardback without a dust jacket, but it has a pretty cover. I love that. I want this. This is why I don't take dust jackets off, because I want there to be something on the cover. So if it doesn't have anything on the cover and it's just a blank colored hardback book that's a color or something, I don't care what color it is. I want something on the cover. So I got that as well. So it is a middle grade, but it's from a different, and I finally got this one. So last time I went to the library, I could not find this one, so it's possible that it might have been checked out. But this one's Song of Achilles. This one came out in, I want to say, 2008 or 17. Let me see, where's the... Oh, no, it came out in 2012, so it was I think it was her first book. Before Circe. It was her before Circe. And it's basically the story of Achilles through the perspective of Patroclus. Patroclus, who in this one is his lover, or is in love with him. Is in love with Achilles. I don't know if the character is actually gay or not, or maybe he was bi. I don't know, but like the Troy movie, Helen of Troy movie that came out a few years ago with Orlando Bloom and Brad Pitt, and then the other guy, I can picture his face, but I can't remember his name. He was the same guy that, I can't even think of the name of this one either. He was the same guy who was in that movie with Rachel McAdams. He was the Time Traveler's Wife. He played the main guy in that movie, in the movie version of that. I can't think of his name. I can picture him, but I can't remember his name. What's that? Which now funny, although now my friend Christina at the time, my best friend at the time, Christina, she didn't care about Brad Pitt. She was just there for Orlando Bloom. Which is it's funny that, most people probably saw the movie because, oh, Brad Pitt's in it. But no, it was for her, it's because Orlando Bloom. Which, that's who I would be picturing when I read this book. Not Orlando Bloom, but Brad Pitt is who I probably would picture as Achilles. Because I gotta admit, he does, I can see where people, but if you do the right kind of, he's a good looking guy, so if you do enough makeup, he can look like a god, or at least a god in human form. Yes, I think he's a gorgeous man. He's not my favorite, but he's a good looking dude, and very yummy. Although it kind of ruins that he has alcohol problems. I mean, no disrespect, and you can't help that if you get into that, but which I hope he has really got his act together. But I do know that there is a romantic relationship between Achilles and Patroclus. I'm not entirely there's a blurb on here. Sorry. And Anne Patchett, which I think she's the one who just came out with that book, the Dutch House. Emma Donoghue, she wrote The Room, and I think she just came out with another book too. I I don't know who that is. Helen Simonson is. I don't know the rest of these people. And there's Independent and Guardian left a blurb too. Although I have an issue with that because it's like, I don't care who loved this book or talked to how great this book was. I just want to know what it's about. The good news I'm a good read. The good news is Goodreads and BookTube. So I'm so glad. I am glad that exists because, you know, now a lot of publishers just be like putting blurbs in the back from other authors and magazines and newspapers being like, oh, this book is great. This was captivating. And this is like, yeah, it's great, but why was it captivating? Why did you love it so much? What is it about? I don't care if you thought it was captivating. Just because you think something is captivating doesn't mean I'll think it's captivating. I want a description on the back. And it's just, I don't like that. I don't like when they just put blurbs on the back of books. Oh, this is a hardback, so it does have that. But not all hardbacks have a description on the inside, the back, the front, or the back flap. It's just, okay, I don't care. I just want to know what this book is about. I don't care how much you loved it. Just because you loved it does not mean I'm going to love it. As long as I know what it's about, then yeah. Of course, they're probably thinking, well, then why are you looking at the book if you don't know if you're going to love it? But maybe maybe the little bit you've heard of it sounds interesting. Or, like I said, what if you're one of those people that does follow other authors and blurbs on books and you think, oh, well, they liked it, so maybe I'll like it. But let me just see what the book is about first. Sorry, I just feel like it's like, stop doing this. I want this. I want a description of what it's about. I guess but again, maybe they're figuring, well, we'll have this, so it's okay if we have this. As long as we have something there. So at least they thought about that. Okay, so the next one at the beginning were, okay, so first, I read Omar Toll's, where is it? Is it on here? I'm trying to, ooh, Oprah, love this book. Rules of Civility. Okay, so it's right there. So I read Rules of Civility. I remember liking it. I mean, I wasn't like in love with the book, but I did really like it. Oh, who's this recommended? Audrey. I don't know who Audrey is. I don't know if I met her. I've only met Terry and Melissa and John. Those are the only librarians I know. They have these staff pick stickers. I think I showed you guys these before. Because like librarian Terry recommended, the 10 Woman in Cabin 10, which I liked. But this is Gentleman in Moscow, and this is about a guy who is living in, he's a Russian guy, or I don't know if he's a Russian guy living in a hotel. Oh, so, I guess Rules of Civility was the author's debut. Was his debut, so, okay, so it's like this account, and he has to live in a hotel, I think. Or he's under house arrest. And he's just watching the world go by. So, I remember I've been wanting to read, because I did like the other Rules of Civility, it just wasn't the best book ever, but I remember wanting to read this, because maybe this would be more interesting to me, especially because I've been intrigued by Russia lately, and I blame that partly on Olive, from Book Olive. So there's that one, and then I got this one. Now, I don't know if this is the one that's all of a sudden like popular, like it's a book that just came. Let me see. What's the date? What's the copyright date? Where is it? Okay, here it is. 2015. Okay, so because there were two books. There was The Heart's Invisible Furies. I think that's the one that I've been hearing about lately. I think, although no, I might be hearing about Heart's Invisible Furies. That one might be the classic though. And then I think I heard about this one as well, Fates and Furies, by Lauren Groff, and I don't know what this is about. I'm wondering if this was one of the books that campus mystery books that Olive recommended. I don't know, because it does think in this first sentence it says they meet in the final months of college. Oh, but they get married. Okay, so they get married really young. So it's about this couple's relationship, it sounds like. So the guy is a playwright, becomes a world famous playwright, and she's, I guess, his muse, or, you know. So I guess it's just about their relationship. And then I want to tell you one more thing before I end this book haul. Library book haul is. Okay, so I got, you can see it right there. You can see there, I got the Libby app, which I think is for a library. So I opened it up. I got the Libby app, which is nice, and it's a app for like getting books via the library, like for borrowing books instead. So what I ended up doing is, well, first I looked at they do have some audiobooks. So I looked and I did not find Tolkien there, Lord of the Rings there. I was very disappointed. But then Melissa, the librarian there, she's the one who's like told me, we talked about how we both still read YA. She's the one who told me that she loves YA. So we were talking, and she was like, well, you can download the Libby app, so you can borrow books, so awesomely enough, it's just, I have put Lord of the Rings on hold on here. Oh, this is the Lord of the Rings book. I ended up returning it. Where is it? So I don't have. So anyway, I'm gonna stop there because I'm in the middle of filming to tell you guys about this. But I have got Lord of the Rings on here, but it's on hold because someone else has it, and I will get it and I believe I will get it in 2 weeks, so I can finally listen to it on here, which is nice. And I don't have to feel guilty and feel like I have to answer to the fantasy fans and be like, no, I've not read Lord of the Rings. I can say that I've actually listened to Lord of the Rings instead of read the book, because it's still the book. You're not technically physically reading, but you're listening to it. It's being read to you by someone. So it's like, yes. So it's like, now, guess what? I've read the book. Or I've listened to the book. So I've had, it's not easy to read. I'm sorry. I mean, not everybody can read a very detailed, and I'm still kind of getting into that classics writing style anyway. And so it's like, and he's so very detail oriented. I mean, I've always been told, people always, when they talk about his writing, a lot of times people say, he took a whole page to describe a tree. I don't even know if I ever got to that chapter. But the problem being that I've seen the movie, so it's like, oh, I've seen the movie, so it's like I know the plot, the basic plots. I feel like, oh, I don't need to take the time to read the book, but I've always been feeling like, okay, I need to at least try the book. And, those are my nephews, two sweet boys. So I finally decided, I put it on my Amazon wish list, but it's not cheap, and I understand why. So I was like, let me just go ahead and download. Oh, which reminds me, I should see if they have access to the Stephen Fry versions of the Harry Potter books. Because I would love that. I would love those versions. Even though I have the books, it would be kind of nice to borrow, at least listen to once the Stephen Fry version of the Harry Potter books. I don't know if they would have them. Because I think that's just in England. Like, that's, like, me in America, the American version of those are the one by Jim Dale, which he has a great voice and everything, but it's just I want to get a different voice. I'm tired of always hearing him whenever I read the books, and in my head I hear his version of things. So I'm always competing with his voice versus the actors who play the characters in the movies. Like, I go back and forth. And it would also be kind of nice because there are some books. I also feel like I should try downloading John Adams by David McCullough, because maybe I'll be more pushed to read it, encouraged to read it if I have it on audiobook. So maybe I can borrow that from the library as from the Libby app as well. But it's just so awesome that I have this now. So yeah, that's kind of another part of another haul that's part of the haul. So I just wanted to share you guys because I got more books than I usually do, or at least than I've gotten lately, because I have gotten carried away before. Problem is I try not to, because my books here end up not getting read. Because I'm trying to go through my library books. The good news, I'm not spending any money. So that's good. Anyway, if you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Click subscribe if you haven't. I hope you are enjoying your reading. And I will talk to y'all later. Alright, bye!